8. You are with me, Miriam Angel, Salim Barisa, and Emmanuel Goner. In studio is a guest, Dr. Patrick Oyaro Owiti. He is the chief of party USAID Stawisha Pwani. Dr. Patrick, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
All right.
So good to have you here.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for creating time.
That's well.
Yeah. But Dr. Patrick, you're also a singer. He's not just a doctor. He sings.
Yeah, that's my hobby.
Yeah.
And it's a way of also handling my stress.
Oh, nice.
Mental health, that is.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Very, very huge. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we'll talk about your music.
Okay. Asante.
Thank you. But right now, Kenya commemorated 40 years since the first reported HIV case with a vibrant and impactful World AIDS Day that's on the 1st of December. And the event, which was presided over by the CS, reflected on the nation's progress in combating HIV and issued a renewed call to address challenges hindering the achievement of ending AIDS by 2030. I like the idea of ending AIDS by 2030. How possible is that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's important for all of us to reflect on how possible that is.
Yeah.
It will take concerted efforts. It will take doing things differently. It will take looking at the data that we have in the finest way. Because sometimes when data is presented to us and we get big figures, if you don't break it down to know, for example, which population is most affected and what is the reason why that population is most affected,
Yes.
then you will not use the best intervention. So my answer is yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, in that we must be innovative. We must use data to inform our decisions. And this is data not just for health-related data, but even things like funding that people may take for granted. If you don't fund health, if you don't fund HIV programs, for example,
Yes.
then you're not able to do those interventions. So yes, if we do it right.
Yes, if we do it right.
Right.
We are seeing this year, there was a report that was released, statistics, that
Yeah.
adolescents and young adults between 15 to 34 contribute to the highest, the rising cases of HIV infections. Why is this happening?
It's again, I'm happy that the national program is able to mine the data to give us that information. So the health facilities, the smallest health facility, think of a dispensary in Mombasa here or a health center. That data they collect from that health facility, the number of people who are tested, those who are initiated on treatment, it goes up to the national level. Then the country uses, collects all this data and does an analysis. So the data has been analyzed. So if you test everybody or the number of people who have been tested, we are able to then disaggregate and put them in age bands from 0 to 5 or 6 to 10, 11 to 14 or 11 to 15, then 15 and above. And using that information, then you find out of the total number of those who have tested positive, then you can calculate the proportion for each age category. So why is this? Unfortunately, the data also shows that a high proportion of this age group have not known their status, their HIV status.
That is now the youth.
The young people.
Yeah.
Yes, so we have been able to offer testing, but not enough. So we've not been able to identify those who could be living with HIV out there. So what happens? They continue. Those who are living with HIV continue to infect
Others.
the others.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those who are HIV negative then do not take the preventive measures. because you can only take action if you know your situation.
Yeah.
So if you don't know whether you're HIV negative, you'll just be there. If you don't know whether you're HIV positive, you'll not go for treatment. If you're sexually active, you'll continue to engage in sex without protection. So I would say that that's one contributory factor. The other important thing is the vulnerability that young people have. And so Kenya has given a wide, that's a wide range. When you say 15 or 13 to 34, you've included under 18, who, sorry to say, have no business having sex.
Yes.
And I'm not saying they're not having. They're having sex.
Yeah.
But what is the expectation of all of us? But so you that age group has included the young adults. I say that because the definition of the United Nations definition of youth is from 15 to 24. But Kenya, through the constitution, has expanded it to, let's say, 34, 35 years. Yeah. So vulnerability, high risk taking, right? Indulging into alcohol and drugs. It is important to also know that sexual and gender-based violence is also there.
Yeah.
When we look at the data that we have within the program here in the coast region, the people who are violated most are the category between 15 and 19 years of age, and it can stretch up to 24, and that is sexual violence, and most of them are females. So if you are violated with someone who is living with HIV, high chances that you're going to contract HIV.
Yeah.
The other factors include, of course, level of education, and data shows that those who've not advanced in education have higher chances of not being able probably to bargain or think about the risks, and that puts them at risk of HIV transmission. And then also, if you dig deeper in the data, you'll then find a difference between rural and urban population. So where most youths are in, yeah? So maybe you'll find those who are less educated in the rural areas. So that's another factor. And what else? Poverty. Poverty is there.
Yeah.
And sometimes we talk about poverty in isolation, but we have to then link poverty with every other thing, including health. Yep. A child, and some of these are real stories where families, even in the coast here, because of poverty, a mother can tell a daughter that you do whatever you do as long as you can bring home what? A packet of unga for us to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah? Whether it's right or not right, that's happening. A young girl who is in her menses needs sanitary pads.
Yeah.
And no one can offer that. A border rider or somebody else, what will that person do? I give you a ride, free ride, and I'll buy you a pack of pads.
Yeah.
And the lady feels she has her dignity back. So these are some of the factors that are contributing to a high proportion of new infections being amongst this population.
Okay. Doctor,
Yes.
mimi nitakurudisha nyuma kidogo
Aha.
before tuje hapo kwa vijana pale ambapo Miriam alianzia kuhusiana na mahali tulipofikia kama nchi.
No.
Ukasema kufikia mwaka 2030 tunaweza ama hatuwezi.
Hatuwezi.
So tuseme ni miaka 5 yenye tuko nayo, ni miaka 5. Kuna mikakati yoyote ambayo ni ya msingi kwamba tukishika hii barabara kufikia mwaka 2030 ambayo ilikuwa ni ruwaza ya 2030 ipo misingi madhubuti kwenye kipindi cha miaka 5 ambayo tuko nayo sasa hivi kwamba hili bwana tutafanikiwa. Hawa vijana hawa tutakuwa tumewatoa hapo. Wale wazee ambao kwamba wao pia tumetoa hawako. Is it kuna hicho kitu ambacho kiko?
Yeah, asante kwa swali. Ningependa kusema kwamba serikali kuu na serikali gatuzi
Yes.
wanashirikiana. tuko na kitu kinaitwa roadmap
Yes.
to end of HIV AIDS. Na serikali kuu, hata permanent secretary is involved. Na kuna idara inaitwa NASCOP, National AIDS STI Control Program.
Yeah.
Na kuna ingine inaitwa National Syndemic Diseases Control.
Yeah.
Kitambo tulikuwa tunaita NAC. So wanafanya kazi pamoja. Kuna watu wameitwa pamoja kutengeneza committee ambayo inashughulikia hii roadmap.
Okay.
Na hii roadmap imeandika chini ni kitu gani kinatakikana tufanye ili tufike lengo la ending AIDS in 2030.
Okay.
Na rais wetu alisema kwamba Kenya anataka tufanye hii mapema. Hata akasema 2027. So kazi iko kwetu. So lakini vile nilisema hapo awali, umejua unaweza andika roadmap na ukatai kuifuata.
Yeah.
Unaweza andika alafu useme staki.
Ama ushindwe.
Yeah. Because for it to happen, you have to implement it.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
So we have a roadmap.
Yeah.
And the roadmap has strategies. It is showing people what you need to do. And it has identified the best practices. It may identify those innovations that we need to do. Na hizo innovations si ati zimetoka mbali. Utapata maybe hospitali iko Nyeri imefanya 1, 2, 3
Okay.
ikafaulu.
Ndio.
Maybe hospitali Kwale imefanya 1, 2, 3 ikafaulu.
Yeah.
So hizo zote zimewekwa pamoja na unaweza sema tukifanya hivi tutafaulu. Lakini ningependa kutueleza kwamba na umegusia hapo. Tuko na hizo age categories tofauti. Hata watoto, mama mjamzito ambaye ako na ugonjwa wa ukimwi,
Ndio.
asipofanya yale yanatakikana,
Yes.
anaweza kuambukiza mtoto. So tukisema tunataka tamatisha ama kumaliza
Yes.
HIV by 2030, inamaanisha mpaka tuanze hapo. Uko mtoto mdogo, hakuna mtoto ambaye nitakana azaliwe na ugonjwa ukimwi wakati huu. Yeah? Tukija hapa mbele, kuna vijana ambao sasa wameanza kuzihusisha na ngono.
Yes.
So the young people, what interventions will you do ili wasishikwe na ugonjwa ukimwi?
Okay.
Then kuna wazee, kuna wale wako kwa ndoa, wale ambao hawako kwa ndoa,
Na
kuna wazee
wenye wako kwa ndoa, wachepukaji. Yes.
So kuna hizo age categories. So lazima ufanye interventions kulingana na age group ili tufaulu. So kuna mkakati.
Okay.
Pengine niulize, inaweza kuwa pengine ni priorities zimechange, kwamba kwa sababu nadhania miaka ya hivi karibuni kumekuwa na yale magonjwa mengine, kwa mfano cancer. So inaweza kuwa roadmap ndio iko, lakini pengine tumeona kama hii ukimwi pengine imepungua nguvu kupita haya ambayo pengine yameanza kuibuka.
Swali nzuri hilo. Ningependa kusema kwamba kwa miaka, umesema ni miaka 80 ama ni 40. Kwa sababu kesi ya kwanza ilikuwa 1985.
Yeah.
So it's 40 years. Lakini ufadhili tulianza kupata around 20 years ago. Yeah? Ukiangalia data, new infections in 2013 ilikuwa nyingi zaidi compared to now. So hapo awali kulikuwa na hata 60,000 new infections in a year. Sahi tunaongea juu ya 17,000. So kazi imefanyika. Hapo awali watu walikuwa wanakufa wengi sana kwa mwaka. Sahi imepungua, maybe it's around 20,000 in a year. So kazi imefanyika. Huenda kuna wengine waseme kwamba hii tumemalizana nayo, wacha sasa tushughulikie mambo mengine. Lakini ningependa kusema kwamba hatuwezi acha mambo ya kushughulikia wale ambao wanaishi na virusi vya ukimwi. Nasema hivyo kwa nini? Kenya mzima tuko na 1.4 million people living with HIV. Mombasa hapa ni around 55,000. Yes? Watu hao ni lazima waendelee kufanya nini? Kuchukua dawa, kutumia dawa. Wasipofanya hivyo, tutareport nini? Vifo. Apart from that, tutareport new infections. Kwa sababu ile dawa wakati ambapo mtu anaitumia inamsaidia yeye mwenyewe, lakini inamsaidia pia kupunguza chances ya transmission kwa mwingine. So what's happening is this: funding, ufadhili unapungua kutoka serikali za nje. Lakini Kenya, sisi kama wa Kenya mpaka tutafute hiyo pesa na kufill hiyo gap. Ni mimi ama wacha niseme yule mtu ambaye anaweza ambukizwa na ugonjwa wa ukimwi ndio yule anaweza pata malaria, ndio anaweza pata cancer, ndio anaweza pata typhoid. So hakuna vile tutatofautisha na kusema tutashughulikia ugonjwa huu na tuache ingine. Sasa kuna kitu tunaita integration. Yeah? So integration ni kwamba tukienda hospitali, ukienda kwa clinic ama uenda hospitali, hapo kwa outpatient, daktari yeyote yule anaweza kukushughulikia kwa ugonjwa wowote ule. Yes?
Yeah.
So tukifanya integration, basi hiyo mambo ulikuwa nasema pengine tumeona tumefaulu kwa HIV, tuachane nayo, haitafanyika. So jibu langu ni kwamba hatuja neglect, lakini vile Miriam alisema hapo awali ni kwamba pengine sahi hatujaogopa sana.
Yeah. That was going to take me to that because, Doctor, growing up,
Yeah,
there was sensitization.
correct.
And not just any form of sensitization. It's the kind that would actually make you scared, you know? And you'd see a neighbor, you know? And you'd see the weight loss and you'd see all that. And then you'd see somebody pass on and the next person also pass on.
Yeah.
But then also there used to be groups, youth groups. And the youth groups that we had growing up, I grew up in South Nyanza, you know, Sonny Sugar Company to be precise. We used to have a Sonny Sugar youth group.
Yeah.
And that group its purpose was literally to advocate for some of these things. I was very, very young.
Yeah.
But my siblings, of course, were older. They were part of this group. And I remember we'd go for these outreach programs and people used to be told, if you contract, this is what you need to do. But for you not to contract, this is how you need to prevent it. You know? So there was consistent sensitization.
Yeah.
Has that gone down to a point yenye hatuogopi? Ni kama watu sema jokingly tunaogopa mimba more than you know, like hatuogopi.
Yeah. Wow.
Should we change how we sensitize? Should we change the strategy? Yeah.
Yeah, you again growing up, as you said, and the pictures, of course, were scary, and you'd see a big billboard showing someone who is living with HIV. But the truth is that things have changed. We used to have a program called community-based. There was a community-based program where even health workers and community workers would go and visit people at home.
Yeah.
But things have changed because people got tested and people came for treatment. And right now people get tested and they're initiated on treatment immediately. Compared to before where you get tested, it takes time for you to be reviewed. The guidelines would say maybe your what we call CD4 is still high.
Yeah.
You don't need to be on treatment. So the good work that the HIV program has done has made us not to see the previous picture of HIV where people were so wasted, right?
Yeah.
So I can go right now as Patrick, get tested, and if I test HIV positive, you meet me and you will not know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
and I would choose to go for treatment or not go for treatment, and you will not know.
Yes.
So that all scary photo or way of depicting HIV could have helped some people
Yeah.
and a lot of people. But now we don't have that picture.
And now these are the same people who are infecting others.
It is very possible that, and that is why we encourage people that HIV is not on anybody's face, and you don't know someone who is living with HIV. So the best thing is know your status and go for prevention.
Knowing your
Yes.
status in campus as well, we had all this. I can't remember the organization, but they used to come to school.
I choose
and
life or something.
I Choose Life.
Yeah,
Oh my God, ICL. Yes, I was
yeah.
part of that. And they would test, you know.
Yes.
So there was that mentality that after 3 months you test, or after 6 months you go like know your status. Salim, why are you laughing? Me, tuliyekuwa hivi Salim. Tuliyekuwa hivi.
Yes.
Huwezi kuwa pale ICL na ujui status yako. How are you going to advocate, you know? How are you going to teach Gona?
Yeah.
You have to. Tulikuwa pale nimepanga hapo line, Gona pia kwa hapa. We're going to test.
Yeah.
So even in campus, there was that.
Right.
And we saw a lot of people come up and just test to get to know their status.
Yeah.
But then also, you see, we were taught about the stages of HIV.
Correct.
So growing up, you don't just know about HIV and AIDS, but you know about the stages, you know about the symptoms, you know about what to
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
And then we were laughing about this with Kina Salim, that there was a form of counseling that used to be given. Ukienda pale hospitali. And first they speak to you. And yani right after the counseling, either you'll be like, God, and you're always praying, Mungu tafadhali. I will do better, right? And then even after, they get you to a comfortable state to want to know your status.
Right.
But they also tell you that if the result is positive, you can survive
Yes.
by taking medication,
Right.
by doing ABCD. So they get you in that comfortable space.
Yeah.
Saizi, Patrick,
Uh-huh.
when they
baby, come.
pale,
Uh-huh.
some hospitals,
Yeah.
Come, baby,
there
come.
is no counseling. There was one that I had to ask.
Uh-huh.
I asked the doctor,
Uh-huh.
you know, counseling me? And
I hear you, and let me not say there's no. It varies. We still do that. We still do HIV counseling and testing.
do we
If-
do it with the care, with the... nowadays...
I would say it varies, and our experiences may be very different.
Yeah.
But when you get an opportunity, even go to the field, the community, meet the people we call HIV testing counselors.
Yeah.
We have them all over the health facilities, some employed by the national government, county government, and some employed by our organizations. I work for LVCT Health, is the organization I work for, and we are funded by USAID. And so one of the things is we employ health workers to support the government. So we have HIV testing counselors. So they still do that. But can I give you the flip of the
Please.
counseling and testing?
Yeah.
I did a study where when the women came to be counseled and tested, they told the health worker that, I know already you're going to tell me if you test positive, this, if
Yes.
you test negative. So we also have those who are tired of this same story. So we have different groups. But talking about young people specifically,
Yes.
we need to do more and we need to do better
Okay.
because we don't have enough youth-friendly clinics. Or the hospital, a young person goes to a hospital and he finds all these adults everywhere and children or adults. Some of them get scared and like, do I really fit here?
Yeah.
And now that's a problem that we need to do, that we need to fix. How can our health institutions be youth-friendly? Apart from that, where are youths found? If they won't come to the hospital, let's go and look for them
Yeah.
where they are.
Yeah.
Is they playing pool somewhere? Schools have closed right now. The young people are along the beaches.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
And so we need to look for resources and find how can we reach them. Even having a booth just for VCT
Yeah.
at the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where else can they be found? In the universities, in the colleges. I won't name the institution, but one day I was called to be a guest in just before World AIDS Day and to speak in that institution. And the principal just came and told me, these guys came from college, and I think around 30,000 condoms that were in the facility just got depleted within a week.
Yep.
Now, that is in Coast Region. Now, I want you to imagine that that is the same in all institutions, colleges and universities in the region. Those who don't find that condom, what will they do?
They will nani.
They
will nani.
Yes. And let me, at this point, let me just say, apart from condom, we have what is called PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, a drug that you can take to prevent transmission. So I know your concern, but it varies. We are not, it may appear that we are not doing the counseling and support the way we used to do. But again, resources are an issue.
Yeah.
But we need to fix that.
All right.
Yes.
We are speaking to Dr. Patrick Oyaro Owiti. He is the chief of party USAID Stafisha Pwani. We're talking about HIV prevalence among the youths, but also in our country in general. What question do you have? 0700917917. Good morning.
How are you? Eric Omondi, President of Comedy Africa.